This is the polling station. I'm Richard. This is 8:15 in the evening, so that's T-minus 1 hour and 45 minutes left to vote.
There's an interesting combination, the momentous and the utterly banal, just crammed together into a single event.
In any other election, I would so comfortably talk about like who I voted, why, what's the rationale. And the biggest struggle in this one is like we have the right to vote and we should vote for like what you want for the country. But I really struggled to find any concrete rationale to stick with any of them. Like you have a Conservative government that's run the country economically into the ground, morally corrupt that nobody could stand behind. You have a Labour Party that probably isn't in line with where Labour Party's ever been, so how can you really trust where they want to be? And then you have a Reform UK party now coming up that on the surface of it will capture a lot of the protest votes but have such worrying underlying racism behind it. So I sat in the polling station like, where do I sit behind? And you stand there, you say, I have to think like what's best for me in the short-term future, and I made my vote off the back of that. But did I come out of the booth like comfortable from a moral standpoint or confident in the country? It's a sad state of affairs, it really is.
Brilliant. We've got to get off the train. But that was wonderful. Thank you so much. An hour to go. Exit poll comes out at 10. Who knows what the result might be? It is now 10 to 9, as you can see.
It's not like 97 and Tony Blair when everyone was euphoric, but let's just get Rishi out.
An ominous 9 p.m. bong. 1 hour to go.
I would have preferred to support my MP is Conservative, but unfortunately they've got too much baggage. They've made a mess of it.
They've made a mess of it. Do you want to tell me what kind of mess?
I mean, you just need to go to the Embankment COVID memorial. I lost a relative, so I couldn't visit, and there was Partygate, and so it's just history for me. Yes, to see.
Here to see the media or here to see George V?
Exit poll. We just need change, I think, don't we? In many ways, it's been quite a dull campaign. The polls haven't changed much, but a momentous change is coming, I think, inevitably. And we've had 14 years of Conservative-led government, and I think the mood is for change, isn't it?
Someone described it to me earlier as both momentous and also banal. Would you agree with that kind of assessment of the campaign?
That's a fair summary, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
Pretty much, yes, I'd say so.
So you come out here to Tufton Street, which is famous for hosting a huge number of right-wing think tanks and other kinds of conservative sort of what's called the reactionary international institutions. Some of them are climate denying, some of them are migrant bashing. We are hoping there'll be a bit more of a mood. Is there a mood? Do you guys want to talk about the election?
Yeah, well, as Americans,
which election?
Yes.
We're talking Trump or Biden?
We'll give you Trump.
We'll give you Trump. We will send you Trump.
For free.
For free.
We're full, actually. We've got our own.
Your own.
Yeah,
I know.
today, right?
I know. That legends for today. Yes. How did it go?
Well, we don't know yet. The exit poll is in about 20 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Do you look across the pond at us and think, my God, at least there's someone else who has the politics as bad as we have it.
It's one of those things like in the United States we say, thank God for Mississippi, because it keeps everybody else from being above the bottom. And so, yes, it's your politics amuse us to no end.
We've accidentally blundered into the Adam Smith Institute, where some guys are refusing to speak to us. Please, a little comment on how you're feeling about the upcoming change in government. No? Nothing at all, not a bit of a...
Sorry, it's private. Sorry.
Okay. So we've come here to the Westminster Arms. We're hoping to talk to some Conservatives and see what's up with them on this, probably the worst election night, maybe ever. You got a sort of cool Britannia vibe going on. Is it 997 again for you?
We've got to fight for every vote.
You've got to find
everyone needs to come out and vote.
in the next 2 minutes.
In the next 2 minutes, yeah.
Everyone's got to vote.
Before the polls close, every vote counts.
What is your offer for the British people, really? Like, what do you really...
You know, stability, competence, economic growth.
Economic
big thing.
growth?
Yeah.
This is so uncanny. This is so deeply strange.
Well, my father was a toolmaker, you see, so...
Your father's a toolmaker?
Yeah.
Great, yeah. Of course.
It's a full-blown Labour landslide.
I did vote Tory.
Tell us the reasoning.
Well, it was basically it was tactical. Didn't think the supermajority would be good for the country. But at the end of the day, I mean, to be honest, versus what I was expecting, I'd take 131. I don't think it's a bad result. And if it was genuinely up to me, if I had the choice of who I'd rather be in government right now, I would say Labour. But
you voted tactically Tory, but you want a Labour government. But they were going to win anyway, right? Yeah.
Exactly that. So I thought, let's just have a seat for the opposition.
Do you know any unabashed, yes, I voted Tory, I want the Tories in? Can you name one? Have you ever seen one in the last 3 years? Can you find a single person?
No one has admitted it.
People's Vote. What was that campaign?
I found it down the back of the couch. It's an alright t-shirt though, isn't it? How are you guys doing?
We're doing pretty well. We're really trying to find Tories. I imagine you're not a Tory because you've got a People's Vote thing on.
No, sorry.
Where do we find them? Where are they?
Do you know what? Having said that, there was actually some of them in there hiding. If you go a bit deeper in, you sort of find the people in the corner. They're looking a bit deflated. They're looking more than a bit deflated, to be honest with you. They're sort of like, you can tell that they're... This is... One second. I can't get it to stand, but if you can imagine it was, they're just sort of staring into it. They don't really know what they're doing, and that's all right, but they're just... Anyway, that's
impression of a Tory voter. Thank you very much. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling wonderful. 14 fucking years. 14 years. I'm on the news. 14 years.
14 years, it's over.
Amazing.
14 years, it's over.
Do you want to interview each other?
What do you think about this, Lydia?
I think it's great.
What do you think about this, Sam?
It's time for change.
It's time for change. It's time for change. 410. Can you imagine?
Any comments on the results, sir? Any comments on the results?
Pretty big change, isn't it?
Are you excited?
I've had a very long day, so I'm exhausted. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait till Monday when we can actually get back to work and we know things are over.
What we're looking for Tories.
I've just run an election night pub quiz upstairs, and we've had sort of Tories, Labour, Lib Dems. It's funny the sort of affiliations of the pubs changes over the years. I mean, I come here a lot. At one point it was a Labour pub, then it was a sort of DUP pub. Nigel Farage used to drink here a lot.
It was a DUP pub?
During the Theresa May years, yeah. And nowadays you get sort of a mixture of Conservatives, Labour, lots of people drinking here. Not going to be a lot of Conservatives left as it is, so I imagine this is going to be a Labour pub again.
This is the most Tories you'll ever see in a pub again. Yes, that's hopefully. Okay, we'll go and find some. Thank you very much. Tories? Sad Tories?
I'm a Tory leader.
You're a Tory, but he's running away. He's getting away. Come back. There he is. Don't follow him to the bathroom. Okay, now we got the Tories, the wine bar. And it's empty. Where are the Tories?
I don't know. I'm so sick of the Tories. I am so sick of them. I don't want to see them in this pub anymore. They're pissing me off. Can I swear?
Cool.
Good. I don't want to see Nigel here anymore. I want him to go away. I'm hoping he loses Clacton. Sick of him. Done. 14 years of crap.
Decisive.
Socialism doesn't work.
Okay.
I see a very, very high benefit bill because Keir Starmer believes that no one is playing the system. He is not strong enough to deal with world leaders. We're going to have more terrorism. It's going to be an absolute nightmare.
More terrorism, more taxes.
Yeah, we're going to have open borders completely. He's going to give an amnesty, so anyone that's over here is going to be able to stay here. More social housing will be built, obviously, but it will go first to the people that have come over by dinghies. And I just think, and I cannot believe someone like him, also let's not forget, he was a human rights lawyer. That's the last thing we need at the moment in this country.
More human rights. They're coming out against human rights.
So the problem with Keir, he believes that human rights of people that come over on dinghies are more important than the human rights of people that pay tax in this country. But I'm going to have to go now, but it was lovely to speak to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We got her. So we're off now away from Westminster and up towards Jeremy Corbyn's seat, Islington North, where we're looking for the...
Hi, we're looking for the Reform UK, but unfortunately we can't find them because Nigel is nowhere to be seen, unfortunately, because when it comes to power, Nigel is a racist fucking bastard. Can I ask you, what is the political ideology you follow?
I think I'm a sort of a left-wing social democrat.
Christ, you lost me there. Who do you support within the major political parties?
Probably the Greens.
The Greens, okay. Are they a major political party?
Good point. You've got me there. So if there's one pub in the whole of London where people might seem genuinely enthused about the results that are about to happen, it's almost certainly this one here, which is where Jeremy Corbyn is hosting his big party, or at least he was until he left to go to the vote moments ago, just before we arrived.
If we win, and fingers crossed we will, then it will reboot a left movement and it will give the left hope. And, you know, I think hopefully as well we might see some other Green candidates elected. You know, we don't know yet about some of the other left-wing independents, but obviously that's even more challenging. But, you know, with the remaining left-wing Labour MPs, like Zara Sultana, for example, there can be a cohort in Parliament of left-wing MPs, which who knows where that could lead to build the start of something new. But also, I think it's so important to send a message to Labour and that they can't take the left for granted. They can't take socialist voters, pro-Palestinian voters for granted and assume we have nowhere else to go because we do. We know that Starmer's Labour Party is not offering solutions to the problems in this country. We know that people are going to be incredibly disillusioned, and it's a real concern.
The only place in London where people are cheering each individual result, I'm sure.
And it's a real concern in terms of disillusionment fueling support for the far right. So there is an absolute need for a left-wing resurgence to counter that, because we know centrists, liberals will never offer the solutions. They fuel the problem. So we absolutely need to have that resurgence, and I think we'll see it because there'll be so much disillusionment under Starmer's government. We've seen already there is an enthusiasm for Starmer. I mean, all the polling shows that people who are voting Labour are voting to get the Tories out, not because they're enthusiastic about Starmer or Labour's policy offer. So the left needs to be there offering those solutions and building the alternative, and I think we're starting to see that. And Jeremy, if he's elected as an independent, that's just the start of that movement.
The cheering was, I've just found out, was that they showed Corbyn on TV.
We're easily enthused.
It's been too close to call is the official line on this. You seem a bit more optimistic somehow. Is that your take on the situation? We're still about an hour out from the actual call.
I mean, look, I can only go on what I've seen online, what I've heard from people on the ground, Labour sources who are Labour sources themselves pessimistic about the result. And you know what? What I would say is that we have put in the work on Jeremy Corbyn's campaign. Hundreds of us, thousands of us even, every single day for the last 5 weeks. I know that politics isn't about deserving, but if a campaign and a candidate deserve to win, it's Jeremy Corbyn in Islington North, and every single person who's contributed even an hour of their time, a day of their time, a week of their time, taken time off of work. That's democracy. People are standing up, people are fighting back against the rise of the far right and the right wing of the Labour Party, and building a platform of hope. Jeremy Corbyn has represented that for a long time, and long may that continue. And I think tonight, whilst I sound optimistic, I think a lot of that is buoyed by the fantastic atmosphere in this pub and on the campaign generally. But the word on the ground and what we've seen and our numbers are looking very good. So here we are all obviously all very hopeful. We hope that Jeremy can definitely do it.
And now the Chingford.
Iain Duncan Smith, the Conservative Party candidate, 17,200.
So here at Chingford, which was of course the seat that Faiza Shaheen, Iain Duncan Smith and then the Labour Party candidate were all contesting. Iain Duncan Smith is giving his victory speech. He's won the seat, having presided over some of the most brutal Tory cuts of the 2010 to 2015 Parliament. Faiza Shaheen narrowly missed out on second place to the Labour Party candidate, having been deselected by the Labour Party candidate, by the Labour Party, despite having contested this seat very narrowly in 2019, almost beating Iain Duncan Smith that time, and of course that would have been a really major victory. This time the vote has been split between the Labour and Faiza, and both of them have done disastrously compared to Iain Duncan Smith. So another victory for Labour Party strategizing there.
I know that we're going to be so disappointed to have Iain Duncan Smith all over again, and be disappointed knowing that we could have won if it hadn't been for the lies, if it hadn't been for what Labour Party did to me.
Labour have now returned Iain Duncan Smith to Parliament.
They have 100%. The Labour Party has 100% returned Iain Duncan Smith, and they should be ashamed. They should be ashamed of what they've done, what message they've sent people by returning someone that was so involved in austerity, was so involved in disability cuts. We've been fighting him for years, and we're so fed up of him in this community. And they just parachuted someone in that will go back, and here we are. But we've shown we've got fight in us, and I think, I'm just feel so proud to be part of Chingford and Woodford Green. I just think, they thought no one would notice. They thought that they could do what they wanted, and no one would notice if they treated me the way they treated me. They couldn't imagine that the community would care, because that's the kind of politics they had. They're machine politics. They have the sort of politics that makes, takes out individuals, that takes out heart, that takes out faith, that takes out community, that takes out grassroots. They don't want people to be mobilised. They just want to tell you what to do. They want to make the decision somewhere in Westminster. Well, no. And Chingford and Woodford Green has stood up.
Almost 4 a.m. I personally have a raging headache. The sky is starting to go light again. I've taken no drugs at all, a really obscene way of seeing the dawn. And we're on the way back to Corbyn because he's won.
This is about people power. We don't need millionaire donors. We just need heart, politics and belief. And we did it. I'm not going to swear. We did it.
You can swear.
Thank you, Novara. We fucking did it.
Our canvassing data was amazing. It looked brilliant from the beginning. But your canvassing data is always the best stuff you're going to see. It's always you need to sort of translate from that back to what the reality is, and it's always difficult to judge what that gap is. But I didn't think it would be as big as it was, man. It's unbelievable. In the count, we'd built a model that we were sampling the votes and plugging them into the model and saying in which polling district we needed to win by what kind of margin, and we kept nudging it by 10%, 15% more than we needed. And I was like, I don't believe my lying eyes. I just would refuse to call it. But yeah, it happened. It was brilliant.
And what happens now in this constituency? What happens now for you in terms of keeping those skills and pushing them forward to other progressive candidates?
I have no idea. I guess for me, the next thing is probably a pint of Guinness and 8 hours sleep if I can get it.
8 hours?
I've got a 6-year-old, man. That's a heavy ambition, but we'll see.
Everyone here has lost their voice. Everyone here has been screaming and shouting and celebrating. I've been alive for 23 years. This is certainly the happiest moment in my life. I came over 4 weeks ago from Belfast. I came over for 5 days. Fergal from the team came over to me. Can you stay, a little bit longer? I said, yeah, I can stay until Tuesday or Thursday. Oh, no, can you stay until the end of the campaign? So a very nice man called Andy, he put me up in his house, and I've been staying there working day in, day out for Jeremy, and it has been the best experience of my life. It has just been, I mean, to be selfish, the people I've met, the friendships I've made, I mean, looking behind us, it's just, it's something else. It really is something else. And the fact that we won, selfishly as a bonus, but I mean, for the country and across Europe and hopefully in the US if it reaches, is really, really phenomenal.
The real majority is the friends we made along the way. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jeremy has an enormous amount of love and attachment for the people all around here, and they have it for him because he has their back and they have his back. I think that was the most important thing. Then there's the politics. Jeremy stands up for a completely different type of politics, society and economy, and that's what most people here want. And then, yeah, we did run a pretty amazing ground campaign. Biggest campaign in the country by miles in any seat. And we really went and found the voters, and today was incredible. So many people were here, and yeah, we did very well.
For people who share Jeremy's politics and are inspired by his message, but of course don't live in Islington North, they're seeing scant representation around the country. Where does that whole bulk of people, which is now millions, maybe even tens of millions of people, go next?
Well, I think the election here, the result here, and in some other places, is more than a glimmer of hope, actually, because there's no mandate for the do-nothing Labour government that just won on way fewer votes than we got in 2017 and we formed the opposition. There's clearly no excitement for a change which amounts to nothing. So I think we've got an enormous opportunity. I think that's what these election results all across the country show, to come together and to find the right type of movement and political vehicle that can challenge for power in the coming years. Because the reason why politics is so volatile, you'll hear a lot in annoying insidery Westminster ways that there are no safe seats left and so on. What that means is politics is volatile because the underlying social, economic and ecological conditions are incredibly volatile, and life is getting worse for most people. So the politics is going to be volatile, and that is a big opportunity, I think, for, as you say, the millions, tens of millions of people that want to come together and that make up the sociological majority, make up the majority of the people in the country, and find a way to turn that into a political majority. It's not going to be very easy because we have a very, very closed political system, but we can see that it's fraying and it's cracking, and in those cracks and in that fraying, we can open it up and we can build something new.
One volunteer told me that they bumped into Jeremy Corbyn this afternoon around Archway, and he said something which was quite uncharacteristic, I have to say. She said, "How are you feeling, Jeremy?" He said, "It's payback time."
A new dawn, a new sickly dawn.
As you know, the result, we had a campaign of hope, of unity, of determination. We didn't get into the gutter of politics. We don't blame minorities for social housing problems. We blame economic inequality for that, and that's the message we put forward. And I want to say thank you to all of you. In only a month, we got this incredible campaign going. Hundreds, maybe thousands of people came together, people who didn't know each other before, and realised how much they had in common. They want to see an end to homelessness. They want to see an end to child poverty. They want to see hope for young people in schools, not the fear of testing and debt if they go to university. And they want to see a serious attempt to protect and improve our environment. And they want to see somebody in Parliament that will speak up always to end war and not allow and not be a plaything of the arms industry. And so we, of course, that's where I'll be on Saturday at the Free Palestine demonstration. So I just want to say this result is not my victory. It's a victory for everyone in Islington North that believes in a better, decent, inclusive society. It's your victory, every single one of you, for all the work you've done and all that you've done. It's also a message that the way you defeat the rise of racism in our society, the rise of the far right in Britain and across Europe, as Reform have shown, is not by conceding ground to them, but offering an alternative of hope and inclusion. The fight back against the far right in France, the fight back against the far right in Germany and all across Europe, and the need now to fight back against Reform. It's serious. Unless the left can offer hope to people, then the far right are going to be knocking on the door. That's why the unity of our campaign was so important. I will never get into the gutter of politics of blaming people from any country, Bangladesh, Jamaica, India, anywhere, for the problems that we have in our society. And I will never blame refugees for the problems we have. The problems we have are because of the greed of big corporations, the greed of those that are trying to destroy our National Health Service, and the inequality that exists in our society. This is a very, very important message. I'm very proud of the people of Islington North tonight.
So here we are. It's Britain 2024. Keir Starmer is the Prime Minister. A power without any kind of social backing, with no hegemony, with no mandate for what it wants to do, which is ultimately, anyway, nothing. A left that has gathered together to sing its last favourite songs. A resurgent far right that is utterly chaotic and incompetent to govern and will fall apart in a matter of months. A Tory party, the most effective establishment party in the entire world, completely decimated overnight. The Lib Dems, who are nothing in particular, have lots more seats now, and maybe that's good or something. But ultimately, it seems like Britain is heading towards a period of sort of ungovernability, where there is no single political idea, no single political programme that can unite the entire country. And one thing that James Schneider was saying just a moment ago particularly rings true. There is just an underlying level of volatility in Britain that makes any such project, or constructing it, seemingly increasingly impossible. And what that means for the left, or the right, or the confused, remains entirely unclear, at least to me.